All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into something that is deeply profound, but honestly almost entirely silent. I'm talking about that creeping, quiet feeling of just not recognizing yourself anymore. You look around at this life you spent years building, and suddenly you catch yourself thinking, I literally don't know who I am anymore. It's not like you have amnesia, right? And it didn't just happen overnight. It's this incredibly subtle yet massive disconnect. So, if you've been carrying this heavy feeling around, kind of quietly wondering what on earth is wrong with you, I want to start by validating exactly where you are right now.
Let me ask you this directly. Have you looked in the mirror recently, maybe just pausing in the middle of a mundane Tuesday, and thought, wait, when did I become this person? Really think back. Maybe you've realized that the woman who used to laugh so easily, the one who dreamed wildly, or the one who would just say yes to things a little more often, somehow she got left behind. Where did she actually go? Because on the outside, your life probably looks exactly the same. You still go to work, you take care of your family, you function perfectly fine. But on the inside, it's like there's a total stranger staring back at you.
Well, if that hits home for you, I really need you to hear this. And it's probably the most important thing you'll take away today. You are absolutely not alone. And more importantly, you are not imagining this disconnect. You aren't just making it up, and you definitely aren't just feeling sorry for yourself. What you are experiencing on the inside is a fundamental, massive shift. It's real, it's heavy, and it is happening to millions of people right alongside you. You haven't done a single thing wrong, you are just in the middle of an enormous transition.
Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, an avalanche of change. To really get what's going on, we have to look way past the usual superficial stuff society talks about when it comes to getting older. We need to look at the actual mechanics of what's happening to your brain and your environment, all at the exact same time. The sheer scale of what psychologists understand about this phase is staggering. Midlife is literally one of the biggest periods of psychological change we experience as adults. But think about it. How often do we actually hear about that? Society talks endlessly about hot flushes, right? We talk about brain fog, we talk about hormone shifts. But we rarely, if ever, discuss the profound emotional toll of becoming a stranger to yourself. It's one of the least talked about, yet most impactful phases of human development. Psychologists call this a period of multiple life transitions. But let's be real, that's just a very academic way of saying literally everything is changing at once. The pileup is overwhelming. Your body changes, boom, hormone shifts. Children become independent. Suddenly, aging parents need your help. The career you built, maybe it just doesn't excite you anymore. Even your view of time itself changes. You stop wondering what you want to be when you grow up, and you start agonizing over what to do with the next 20 years. And here's the kicker. None of these happen in isolation. They are happening together, rapidly, one after another, and every single one is quietly asking you, so, who are you now?
Think of it like a giant bookshelf. If you take one single book off a shelf, say a minor career change, it doesn't make much difference, right? The shelf looks fine. But what happens when you pull 20 books away at the exact same time? Suddenly, the entire foundation looks completely empty and totally different. That is exactly what midlife feels like. It is rarely one dramatic, cinematic moment. It's hundreds of these micro changes that gradually, relentlessly reshape your life until one day you wake up and think, I just don't feel like me anymore.
Which brings us to Section 2, the role identity trap.
Because on top of all those physical and environmental changes we just talked about, there's a deep psychological conditioning at play here. For years, maybe even decades, you have been defined by your roles. You were the employee, the partner, the mom, the daughter, the carer, the ultimate organizer. You were the one absolutely everyone relied on to keep the plate spinning. But here is the trap. Those roles became so incredibly familiar that they actually became your identity. So when those roles inevitably shift, when the kids don't need you in the same way, or you step back from work, or a relationship ends, it is completely natural that you begin questioning who you are without them. This isn't a weakness, it's just basic psychology.
And this brilliantly illustrates Section 3, the sandwich generation.
All of these shifting roles don't just happen in a vacuum. They happen in a literal pressure cooker. Researchers call this the sandwich generation, though, let's be real, some days the panini press generation might feel a whole lot more accurate. Women in midlife are more likely than ever to be supporting both older and younger generations at the exact same time. You're managing aging parents, supporting adult kids, working a job, managing a home, trying to keep your friendships alive, staying healthy, and somehow planning for retirement. All at once. When you spend literally years constantly responding to everyone else's needs, you naturally lose touch with your own. Not because you did something wrong, but because there was absolutely no space or time left for you.
Then, layered silently right underneath all of this pressure is menopause, the invisible layer.
We hear so much about the physical symptoms, sure, but we absolutely cannot ignore the psychological ones. The hormonal changes happening right now quietly erode your mood. They sap your confidence, they drain your motivation, and they alter the very way you experience yourself. It's just one more massive, invisible weight added to everything else you're already carrying. So let's pause here for a second, because I really want to emphasize something crucial. You are responding to a huge amount of change. I think it is so vital not to dismiss this feeling you have. You are not being dramatic, you are not being ungrateful for the good things in your life, and you definitely aren't just having some cliché midlife crisis. You are experiencing a basic, entirely understandable psychological response to a literal mountain of shifting realities.
This leads us right into Section 4, Rebuilding Your Identity.
Take a deep breath here, because we're going to pivot from all that heavy overwhelm to a massive, incredibly empowering reframe. The research doesn't actually suggest you have lost yourself. It suggests you are rebuilding your identity. And there is a massive, life-changing difference between those two things. Think about it. If you've lost something, you frantically go looking for it in the past. But if you are rebuilding something, well, you are in the powerful position of getting to decide what comes next. You don't have to go find the exhausted, people-pleasing 35-year-old version of yourself. You get to build the next version.
You see, creating a new identity that actually fits the life you are living right now requires completely new materials. This means you need different priorities. It means setting radically different boundaries. It means having different ambitions and entirely new definitions of what success even looks like to you. Putting these new elements into place isn't a sign that you are losing who you were. It is a sign of immense growth. But remember, growth can feel deeply uncomfortable when absolutely nobody has prepared you for it.
So please, assure yourself that nothing is broken and nothing is wrong with you. You are just changing. The source material actually calls this phase a second bloom, which I absolutely love. The goal here isn't helping you find the person you've lost. The goal is helping you recognize the incredible person you are becoming. The woman you're becoming doesn't need to be the exact same woman you've always been. She just needs to feel like you. Your identity isn't fixed in stone. It is beautifully, wonderfully allowed to evolve.
Which brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with today. Instead of constantly asking yourself, how do I get back to who I used to be? I want you to ask yourself this: who do I want to become from here? Because your life isn't over. Your opportunities haven't disappeared. You haven't vanished. You have simply changed. And once you understand the profound psychology behind why you feel this way, it completely transforms from a crisis into one of the most hopeful, exciting discoveries of your life. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this helps you build what comes next.